In this Atheist Sunday School, we're going to do Bible promises about rewards. Lesson 8, Introduction. God has a plan for rewarding His children whenever they do something for Him. Jesus told of this plan one day. He had gone up into a mountain to teach His children. He had already been talking quite a while, showing many wonderful truths. Sorry about that. He was seated on one of the grassy slopes that slant toward the beautiful Sea of Galilee. While the waves gently lapped the shore and gleefully played in the center of the lake, Jesus spoke. He desired that His listeners had the best that He had intended for them. Oh, ain't that sweet? He was telling them how to have it, and telling them He has us in mind too, for the Holy Spirit instructed men who heard Jesus that day to write down those exact words so that He might preserve them unto this time. One of those men, Matthew, wrote the words that are recorded in Matthew 6:1-18. He wrote of the warning that Jesus gave, the danger connected with the warning, and the result of heeding Jesus' warning. In this passage of Scripture, a promise is repeated 3 times. Thy Father, which seeth in secret, shall reward thee openly. The condition is this promise is that certain acts be performed by God's people with the thought of pleasing only Him. What is the warning which Jesus has given us? A. Righteous acts are to be performed with great caution. Again, go to KingJamesBibleOnline.org if you want to see these verses. 2. Take heed that ye do not your alms before men. In Matthew 6:1, the word alms means righteousness. In Matthew 6:2-4, alms means act of benevolence, giving. There are 3 of these righteous acts discussed: giving, praying, and fasting. They are given as illustrations of verse 1 and are described in verses 2-18. Be giving, praying, and fasting are not to be done and to be seen of men. Men may see these works performed just as they should see others of Christian work, Matthew 5:14-16. But these are to be done only for the Lord's sake. Notice especially verse 16. These acts are to be done with obedience as a motive. Matthew 23:23 is an echo of Malachi 3:10, and is an order from Jesus concerning what proportion Christians must give of that which they receive. In addition to tithing, there must be the almsgiving, the giving to the poor and needy. Luke 11:41. Christians are to pray and not to faint, even though an answer may be long in coming. Luke 18:1. There are times when Christians should fast as they are praying for some great answer from the Lord. Matthew 17:21, Acts 14:23. 2. These acts are to be done with love as a reason for doing them. Give to someone because you love him. Pray for someone because you love him. Fast between you because you want to see a great work done for someone. Matthew 22:36-38. Mark 12:32 and Mark 12:33. Fasting means going without food, not just going without certain foods. That's right. Now, when I was a Christian, I used to fast. I've done stuff like that. I can promise you it does not help your prayers or any of that stuff. You're just going to be hungry, very hungry. See, righteous acts are to be performed privately and in secret. 1. Giving is to be done without thinking about it or remembering it. Jesus said, let none thy left hand know what thy right hand doeth. Matthew 6:3. Give, then forget the gift. Do not proclaim your gift. Jesus said the hypocrites sound a trumpet before them as they give in the synagogues and the streets. I essentially doubt anyone actually did that. This was done so that others would notice that a gift had been given. Picture the treasury of Herod's temple. The court of the women, who was also the treasury, was on a level a few stairs above the entrance of the temple area. People cast their tithes and offerings in the 13 trumpet-shaped chests that stood in this court. Jesus will refer to the fact that as some people cast in their gifts, they had trumpet players proclaiming their generous acts. Also picture a person who, with great flourish, drops some money in a poor beggar's hand or cup. 3. Give your gift in secret. Your Heavenly Father sees the gift that you are giving. He keeps a heavenly record in account books. There is no need for you to add up your giving in order to have others praise for you. Do not desire praise or honor from people for the gift. And that should be given to people you work with. You know how many people you work with are such a-holes. They got to make sure everybody knows that they're doing something good. Of course, when they're doing something bad, they want everybody to forget about it. You got that little nasty person at work, or nasty people. That one person who doesn't do any work, but the supervisors love them for some strange reason. Because they kiss that ass. They know how to kiss that ass. I think we all have at least one person that we work with that's like that. They can seem so friendly and everything, but they're incompetent and just horrible. D. Praying is to be done in private. Praying is communication from us to God. Praying is exalting Him and asking Him for needs to be supplied and for events to be controlled by Him, which of course He doesn't exist, so He can't do it. While going to a private room and shut the door, since this is to be a private conversation with God, no one else should be listening to it. Whether prayer is a common group prayer, then someone does pray audibly with others listening, but the prayer should still be talking with God and not with the thought of what people are thinking of the prayer. God will hear the secret, private prayer of His children. He also hears their thanksgiving. 2. Do not pray to be seen of people. Some love to pray in the synagogues and in the corners of the streets. The reason these particular people love to pray in these places is that they may be noticed by other people and be therefore thought of as being very godly, religious people. And you do deal with people like that in life. You know, people, anytime they do something good, everybody's got to know it. E. Fasting is to be strictly private act. Jesus said in Matthew 6:18, thou shalt not appear unto men to fast. Do not want sympathy or praise from people. God sees and knows the burden and the fasting. 1. When there is a need for fasting, no one is to know about it. If one feels that he should not enjoy the pleasures of food until the burden has been lifted or a prayer has been answered, he is not to wear a long face, nor let his beard grow, nor let his hair go uncombed. 2. When a person is fasting, he is to look as normal as he can. He's not to look sad. 2. What is the dangers of which Jesus is warning? A. The reward of the righteous acts will come from people. If people know of the gift and the prayer and the fasting, they will praise and honor the person and maybe even give the gift in return. This is all the reward which we will receive. If you do good for others and they reward you for it, that's all you're going to get. God's not going to reward you for it. 1. This is true with the motives for doing good deeds is so that others will learn of the deeds and recompense for them. Of course, many times the gift is given and received. If it knows who the giver is, if the motive of the giver is from the heart of love, then God knows this. 2. The reward from man cannot be really good compared with the reward which comes from God. The gift from man is only temporal because man is not here on earth to stay more than a lifetime. And of course, after you're gone, that's it. You cease to exist. I know this is an unpleasant thought for a lot of people, but yeah, you're going to cease to exist. There'll be no more you at all. It'll be like before you were born. You don't remember that. Then you won't know, you didn't experience it. You're not going to experience non-existence or experience non-existence. B. A reward cannot come from God for an act done because of a wrong motive. This is in spite of the fact that the act may be good or may have accomplished much good. That's right. 3. What is a promise connected with heeding Jesus' warning? God will see the giving, the praying, and the fasting which are done with Him in mind. He will reward openly for them. 8. God's reward may come partially now. There will be meat in your house accompanied by great blessing for your rightly motivated giving. Malachi 3:10, Proverbs 11 verse 25. Answers will come to private prayers now. Matthew 7:7-12. Secret fasting will reap the results that should be accomplished. Moses received the law while he fasted. Fasting will take place while people confess their sins and got right with God. Fasting on behalf of someone else brings about God's purpose for them. Matthew 17:21, Acts 12:12. I know people who believe that they fast and pray God to save somebody, that God would do it. Of course, that never happened. Conclusion. The promise which we have studied today in Matthew 6:4 can be fulfilled whenever the Christian performs any act of righteousness purely for the sake of pleasing and glorifying God. The promise can be fulfilled therefore only after one of the most difficult things is accomplished by Christians, that of putting self down. If we are seeking to please others, it will be to their thinking well of us. The big question is, are we pleasing God or pleasing ourselves? Do we really seek to glorify and honor God? We should have such a love for God that we have not time to think about ourselves. Look at Jesus and realize what He has done for us, then desire to do for Him. We have discussed 3 works of righteousness that are to be done with the pure motive of doing them unto the Lord, and not to be seen of men. Remember verse Matthew 6:4, that thine alms may be in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret Himself shall reward thee openly. And that's basically it of this. There's not anything more than this, but all I want to say now is I'm almost done with the pamphlets, thankfully. And one more thing, I'll be right back. I just want to say, feel free to check out this book, Astronomy in Minutes, The Night Sky Explained in an Instant. That's by Giles Sparrow. It's actually a pretty good book. You might like it. It explains a lot of nice little things. highly recommend it. Of course, I would also show you the Divine might as well, right? Oh, nobody's watching at this point, so you know it doesn't matter what I'm doing, right? The Divine Comedy by Dante. It's actually a very interesting book. It's poetry, and this particular one is written in archaic English, you know, 16th, 17th, basically the same English that the Bible's written. So, you know, but still it's good. I wish it was more in modern English, though. Well, that's it. Bye.